What's going on YouTube? Florida Man Knives here with a video that's a little bit different because I'm going to be talking about gentleman's knives. What constitutes a gentleman's knife? What are some of the ones that I personally carry? And what are some options out there? So, before I get started, I definitely would like to hear your thoughts and comments on what you think a gentleman's knife is. What are the purposes of that, if you even feel that you would need one in your collection. So getting into it, there's been lots of videos on gentleman's knives. And in my opinion, a gentleman's knife is typically going to be a knife that is a little bit slimmer in profile, and that is something that you're going to be carrying when you're dressing up a little bit nicer, whether it be in a suit or, just something for office carry, if that would be applicable to you. But, a lot of the times, gentleman's knives are going to be made of premium materials, at least in the ones that I've seen as far as the videos on YouTube. And, that is something that I wanted to address in this video. So from my perspective, a gentleman's knife, as I said, is something that I would personally be carrying either, in a suit or dress pants if you feel the need to carry a knife, which all of us knife guys, even though we won't necessarily use one, like to have a knife on us, as you know. And so for me, my personal go-to definitely is the Zero Tolerance 0460. It's just really, really slim in the pocket. Great construction. There's no thumb hole like there would be on a Spyderco that would be protruding. As I said, very slim. I did put a deep carry MXG gear pocket clip on here, the bronze anodized version to go with this bronze carbon fiber. But, this to me exemplifies a gentleman's knife. It's, very capable in every task imaginable, but, it's, again, not a tactical knife by any means, not very robust, and you're not going to be doing anything outdoors with this knife, but very, very slim and sleek, and definitely a very nice construction. So, from my perspective, this satisfies all the needs. It's going to sit deep in the pocket with this pocket clip. That definitely would be something that I would say is a requirement with a gentleman's knife. But at the same time, it kind of depends on you specifically and how you will be carrying it. I mean, one knife that I definitely would say is not a gentleman's knife is the Spyderco Para 3 Lightweight. This one right here is the Knifejoy exclusive in CPM 20 CV. And the reason I'm bringing this out is because I actually carried this exact knife when I was attending a wedding. I had it in my suit coat in the inside pocket. And so, that is just an example of how you don't necessarily need a gentleman's knife for any specific reason. At the end of the day, you really only need a couple of knives, one good functional knife, but then we wouldn't have all these fun topics to discuss, right? So anyways, another point I wanted to bring up with gentleman's knives is that I think a lot of the times you might not necessarily want a knife with a pocket clip. Me personally for EDC, I hardly ever carry knives that don't have pocket clips with the exception of the Victorinox models. But this right here is actually an old Boker automatic, as you can see. This one does have bone inlays and an aluminum handle construction, but this is just a great example of something, again, very slim and sleek, good materials, definitely high quality, but would be very easy to slip in and out of any pocket, definitely a suit coat pocket or dress pants if need be. Definitely, another great option and just a great example. So, I have seen a lot of people in their videos talk about gentleman's knives, and another thing to me that kind of plays into account, a big factor is going to be the size. You don't need a massive knife, so that's really where I've got this here for the Spyderco baby horn. I think this right here is a great little office carry knife. It's G10. It's not as fancy as some of the other models out there perhaps, but this is all you would ever need for a gentleman's knife as far as the size goes. Definitely very small and sleek like the other two models that I have mentioned, actually significantly smaller than the rest of the knives presented here. But, definitely will show a little bit in the pocket, and, just in my opinion is an example, as I said, of a smaller option and something that you might consider. But you have to ask yourself, what would you find necessary, and also what would really be your purpose of carrying the knife? Do you really want to conceal it? If so, I would definitely say get something small, but to that effect, if you're going to be carrying it in the pocket of a jacket or, you know, a pocket that you can't see on your pants, then you could always just honestly go with a small Victorinox Classic model. You know, this is the Classic SD, and then, you know, in my opinion, honestly, I think that the Victorinox Tinker would be a great gentleman's knife for certain applications. And again, you know, this is just a general discussion video. I'm really just rambling in this. And, you know, I just really wanted to say that a gentleman's knife doesn't have to necessarily fit specific requirements. It's really just going to be down to the individual. I mean, I think of all the knives right here, the most ideal would be probably the Akuchi, because this would definitely be, you know, the most streamlined and slim in the pocket. You have a deep carry wire pocket clip, which honestly looks like anything in the pocket when you're carrying it, and would be super easy to slide your hands in and out of. You're not going to catch on anything. You know, great constructions. You do have the carbon fiber over the G10 for these scales, S30V steel, and this is a Taichung Taiwan Spyderco, so fantastic fit and finish. But this definitely will show up on the majority of videos if you look up gentleman's knives, and I think this is a prime example of, if you were to exemplify a gentleman's knife by each of the categories, you know, slim in profile, easy to carry, you know, inconspicuous in the pocket, good materials, you know, definitely reliable, of course. I mean, this is everything that I just mentioned. It's very good looking as well. And I think that's another, you know, aspect of the knife. You know, you don't want to have something super tactical because you're not going to need it. But, you know, if you do end up whipping your knife out, you don't want to whip out something that's going to be very scary or obtrusive to people, generally speaking, if you are going to be in an environment where you would be carrying a gentleman's knife. Now, I do keep putting these air quotes in here because in reality, you know, again, it's down to the individual person. I think the majority of us are probably not going to be needing a gentleman's knife for any reason, and we would really only need to carry a knife on a special occasion a handful of times a year, which leads me to this knife, as I, man, just completely failed on the flicks there. That's so bizarre. There we go. Don't know what just happened there, but this is, of course, the Knife Joy exclusive Swish Bowie from Spyderco, and I really brought this out here just kind of as an example of something that, you know, is very, very nice, very high quality. This is hands down the most expensive knife I own. Great construction. I mean, it's a full titanium frame lock. You got Bowler M390 steel. So in theory, you know, this would be very nice, but it definitely is a little bit heavier. You know, this is going to be over 4 ounces as opposed to under 3 ounces, you know, under 2.5 ounces actually on these 3 models right here. And, you know, definitely deep carry pocket clip, definitely not as conspicuous in the pocket, but still, it's just, again, a heavier, larger knife, and you definitely could carry it in certain settings, but I personally would not want to carry this thing in dress pants or even a suit coat pocket just because it is so much heavier. So, you know, just really a last knife to bring out as an example to close this topic out, as something that, again, is very high quality, very nice, but in my opinion would not be ideal for a gentleman's knife. You know, again, the Spyderco Akuchi I think is probably the most exemplary option, and a close second to that, in my opinion, would be the Zero Tolerance 0460, which has been discontinued, but you can still purchase them. They are still in stock in all the online retailers at this moment. But as I said in the beginning of the video, I would really be curious to hear your comments. And this really was just a video of me rambling. You know, I didn't have any set points on this topic to address, you know, other than just my overall thoughts. You know, something that's going to be slim in the pocket, lightweight, easy to carry, inconspicuous, and ideally something that looks a little bit more fancy. I think that's just the subconscious part of me that's like, oh, I'm going to a nice event, I need to carry a nicer knife. But that is why I brought out the Victorinox models earlier in the video, just to show that it's really down to the individual person and what you would need it for and how you're going to be carrying the knife. So again, unique video here on just a different discussion topic, and I will definitely be doing more discussion videos in the future. So let me know if you have any ideas that you would like to hear discussed for sure. I've got some ideas already, but would definitely be open to suggestions. and I would love to make a video at a subscriber's request for sure. So really appreciate everyone watching, and I hope everyone has a great week. Thanks.